Alright, we're going to go ahead and finish Illustrator class. I'm going to book Chapter 8. This is Part 2. We're going to go ahead and pick up with wrapping the text. So let's go ahead so we can see it wrap. Let's grab our selection tool, make our text come over our truck a little bit. Let's grab our selection tool again, hit the truck. Let's go to Object. Come down to Text Wrap. And I already did it once. So Object, Text Wrap, and Make. And right now nothing happened because the image is currently behind the text. So let's go ahead and do an Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. So now we've got it wrapped around a little bit, but let's give it a little more room. So let's go to Object, Text Wrap Options, turn your preview on, and bump it up to about 20 points. And say OK. So now you've got that nice text wrap around the food truck. Let's go ahead on these guys and make them right aligned instead. That'll look much better. So use your selection tool, your alignment. Let's bring that over as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and do a Control S and save and go back to our food truck rodeo. So click Food Truck Rodeo, let's go to View, Fit Artboard and Window. And we're going to go ahead and play with what's called the envelopes in Illustrator. So let's go ahead with Food Truck Rodeo chosen. Let's go to Object, come down to Envelope Distort, Make with Warp. So right now, arc, usually arc is what's normal. We want arc upper. We want the bend to be about 30%. And no distortion. Make sure it's on preview is OK. And so that's not too bad. It's a little bit big. But we can decide, OK, I don't like it. I want to change it. So let's go ahead and change the contents. So instead of Food Truck Rodeo, I just want Food Truck. So I'm going to go here to my Properties panel, grab the one that kind of looks like a star, which is the Edit Contents. With Edit Contents, I can then go into my Type tool and double click on the word Rodeo, hit Backspace or Delete, get rid of the extra space, and get rid of that delete altogether. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my selection tool, slide that over a little bit. But it's still a little bit much. Now it's bending a little bit too much. So let's go ahead, grab our selection tool, grab the box that's in. And let's go to the next one over. It looks a little bit like Mesh, which is the Edit Envelope. And you're going to see that we get some different options up here at the top. So instead of bend being 30, let's go ahead and make sure so our bend is 20% instead. And say Enter. So it made it a little bit smaller. So let's go ahead, drag it, grab your Shift key, drag it a little bit bigger. You can kind of align those handles with the bullets. So now we've got Food Truck Corral. Move it up just a little tiny bit. It's a little bit on the line. So we did that with our envelope. Go ahead and do a Control S. Let's go ahead and play with some type on a path because now we need to put some information here on this brown path. So we're going to grab our Type tool. We're going to kind of switch toward the middle. And you notice when you're on the path, you're going to get a curved cursor. So go ahead and click, and let's type the words over 30. Local food trucks or food truck vendors. And right now my caps lock is on, so I messed that up, but we can fix it. I'm going to go ahead and triple click, get the whole thing. I'm going to change it to be pink, my fill. I'm going to change my font to be Roboto, bold. Let's go ahead and make it 40 points. Type that in. If I hit my more options right here, I'm going to hit right here at the bottom, make it all caps. So it fixes that for me a little bit. So it's still not quite where I want it to be. So even if I push center, it's still going to be over a little bit. We've lost a little bit of our text. So I'm going to grab my selection tool And if I grab right here in my selection tool, we can see that we get a cursor. Should get a cursor. So let's just grab this guy right here. Let's do a Control plus and zoom in. Should be able to grab this guy right here. Undo. Okay, so here's our over. Let's go ahead and switch back to there. And we want to be able to grab. We should be able to grab it. Selection tool, just over the left. Here we go. Now I can grab it and drag it back over until my food is about in between the two bumpers on the truck. So you can slide, see how you get the arrow? You can slide the beginning and ending of that path accordingly that way. Alright, let's do a Control S there and scroll up to the top. We still have to do a little bit more here. We've got to add celebrating local up here. So we've got to do what's called a closed path. Right now, if I were to click on here, I'd end up typing inside this circle, which is not what I want to do. So let's go ahead, and while we're up here, we want to make sure we've got the type tool. We want to go ahead and hit Alt while we're over the top and see how we're going to get that closed. They're going to get that type on a path. And let's put the word celebrating local in. And it's a little bit too big, so I'm going to do a Control A, select all, and let's take it down from 40 points down to about 16. And enter. And once again, I can grab my selection tool, go in here and grab, if I zoom in a whole bunch, I can see it a lot more. I can grab these guys and move that over. I need to grab this one and move it as well until I can fit the whole thing in. So it's kind of just a matter of playing with it until you get it just right. Alright, so sometimes we want to do a Control S and save. We want to do what's called converting our text to outline. So instead of our text being text still, we want to make it a image. By doing that, maybe you're working with someone who doesn't necessarily have your fonts. You want to make sure they can't edit it, so you want to go ahead and change it that way. So let's go ahead and go to our Layers tab. And let's turn on frames. We can kind of see everything that's going on in this image. So do a Control minus, zoom out, see everything we've got going on. Let's go to our selection tool. Let's hit the word corral, and let's go to edit. And let's go to copy. And let's go to choose. Let's go to object. Let's go to hide selection. Let's go to edit. Paste in front. And let's go to type and create outlines. So now, instead of our having font, we now have an image that makes that word corral. So we can do a Control S and save that. Let's go ahead and with our selection tool, let's do a Control minus. With our selection tool, let's grab the words and letters for food truck corral and group those over on the side. Let's hit Alt and drag. And you can drag it over to this other poster as well. So we've got that other element. And do a Control S and save. So for your magazine publication, you're going to not need to use this second piece. You can dump everything on this artboard and get rid of it for the publication. For your assignment, you do need to turn all that in. For the magazine, obviously you can edit this and make it work for your publication any way you need to. So make sure you turn in a packaged copy. And that's all for this one.